So, has anybody here ever done a 10-day silent Vipassana meditation course? Oh, good for you. Yeah, good for you. Yay. So it's up. The first time I did it, it was not unlike quitting smoking. It was hard stuff. And this was my 6th one. And I'm not special. Maybe I have special needs because I needed to do it again. And some people, I could never be silent for 10 days. And I don't know if anybody ever hear of a man named Dr. Herbert Spencer. Some of you may know who he is, and you just forgot. He's in the back of a book. And he has a statement. And that statement is, there is a principle which is a bar against all information and guaranteed to keep man in everlasting ignorance. And that principle is contempt prior to investigation. And so when people say, I could never do that, well, how do you know unless you've tried? I mean, you guys have survived 2 hurricanes recently. I think you could get quiet for 10 days. When you think of what we have lived through in life, but I could never do that. And I remember when I was a little boy, and my grandmother put Brussels sprouts in front of me, and I said, I can't eat those. And she said, have you ever tried them? And I said, no. She said, how do you know you don't like them? Well, I just know. Well, try one. That was how my grandmother worked with me. Try one. And it became my favorite vegetable because I investigated something that might be possible. And I've spent a lot of my life in that. There are certain things I just don't want to do that maybe I could, maybe I couldn't. I don't know, but it's not calling to me. The first time I ever heard about Vipassana, a friend of David's had come to our house to visit up in Connecticut. And David was saying, she just did this 10-day silent Vipassana, which is a form of Buddhism. And I'm not here to teach Buddhism today. I'm not here to teach Vipassana. But it's a form of Buddhism. And it's the Vipassana is not a place to worship. It's not a religion. It's a type of meditation. Unity is not a religion. A lot of people get that confused. It isn't. Unity is a philosophy of spiritual principles. When practiced, makes our life better. Makes our inner workings with all of this universe and in this body with this mind, makes it better. Gives us knowing. When you think, I don't know what to do, but if you get quiet for a second, you know what to do. You know what to think, you know what to say, you know what to do. When you are a practitioner. So unity is a spiritual philosophy for positive living. Vipassana is a form of meditation to eradicate all craving, all aversion, and all ignorance. And so when I first heard about this, 10 days of silence, I really did that's for me. 10 days of being quiet. Now, in my mind, I picture, just roam around quietly for 10 days. It's kind of like people think about when they first come to Unity. Oh, it's so easy. Unity, and you'll get a new car, and you'll pray nice prayers, and you'll have little meditations, and the people are all so nice. There's no work to do to be a Unity practitioner. And then you stick around for a while, and you find, I haven't gotten that new car yet. They promised me a new car. If I just said this incantation is what I like to call it, not affirmation, but an incantation, I will manifest whatever it is I want. And I believe I can manifest a lot of stuff. I have manifested a lot of stuff in Unity, but not. It's because I changed my thought. It's because I believed in the promises they made to me when I came into Unity. People like me, made. They promised that if you change your thoughts, you will change your life. And if a new car is what will help you to have a better life, you'll have a new car. But if not getting a new car is what will help you to have a better life, you're probably not going to get the new car, and you need to readjust your thinking. It's the better life. It's the clear thinking. And I was promised I would have no enemies. I love that. I have no enemies. If anybody's read The Eye of the Storm, it starts with, we have no enemies. And so you have to sometimes readjust your thinking on that one. But this one seems to be an enemy, and this one seems to... No, they're not enemies. They're just misperceptions in my mind. Anyway, back to Vipassana. So eradicate all craving, all aversion, and all ignorance. Now, my first time there, I thought I had it because you're on the floor. It's 9 hours collective during the day of on the floor meditation in a very specific way. And you make an agreement before you even get there, really. You won't kill any living thing. You'd think that'd be easy, wouldn't you? And you won't, there's no there's no killing, there's no reading, there's no writing, there's no music, there's no praying. There's no other form of meditation. There is Vipassana. And if you don't know what Vipassana is, it's confusing, but I thought, sign me up. So I get there, and they give you a pallet on the floor, and you can bring your own meditation stool or bench and pillows and things, and they have extra pillows. And this one, the ashram I go to is up in Massachusetts, but there is one in Georgia, I know, and one out west and in this country. And so I'm on that floor, and you say, oh, you're down there. It's oh, my legs, and then you find a way to position yourself that your legs, you'll find, oh, my butt, and you get the, oh, my back. And so what I discovered is I have a great aversion to discomfort. Anybody? I have a great aversion to discomfort. And so that following through, I must have a great craving for comfort. Think about it. I keep adjusting to get. I'm not even conscious of it, so I discomfort. I'm trying to get comfortable, and my ignorance. And I was very clear on this one. My ignorance is, if I could just get comfortable, I won't be uncomfortable. Logical, isn't it? But the thing is, it's all based on the physical. Not the mental, not the spiritual. I'm trying to get my body comfortable. Why do you like peanut butter? Oh, peanut butter cup. That will get me comfortable. Donuts will get me comfortable. Anything sweet, really, or carbohydrates will get me comfortable. Rarely do I hear somebody, oh, vegetable soup gets me so comfortable. Spinach, I'm so comfortable when I eat spinach, unless it's deep fried. But so I thought I had this figured out. The only time you can talk during this time, you can make an appointment at noon with the assistant teacher. The main teacher is on video. That's in Goenka, and he's no longer with us. But the video still plays because they don't want people reinterpreting the message. So the main guy from India is who speaks to us every time. But the assistant teacher, you can go to at noon, lunchtime, to have a little chat, a very brief visit. So I went to him, and I got down, and I said, I think I have this figured out. I explained to him what I just explained to you about craving, aversion, discomfort, and everything. And I said, what do you think? And he said, I think you should keep doing Vipassana, Shawn. And that was the end of my interview. We were not there to talk about philosophy. We weren't there for an intellectual stimulation. I'm there to learn Vipassana because Vipassana is what's going to bring about my healing, the practice of it. It's the same with unity. The intellectual stimulation will not provide the healing we are promised. The practice of this will provide the healing of mental and physical that we are promised in unity. Believe it or not, some have said to me, I just don't feel spiritually fed by you, Shawn. And I thought, that's because I'm not intellectually stimulating you. I'm not providing an entertainment today so you can go and tell your friends, oh, the minister today said da, 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 da. And then they go on about their business of misery. We're here to eradicate our misery, to realize we don't have to have misery. I loved what Margaret just said up here today. And this event, these hurricanes, have been an opportunity to provide service or receive service. Either way, because receiving service is giving service. You know, we must be givers and receivers in the fulfillment of the law. Imagine when Helene started, you'd say, oh, goody, I get to be of service tomorrow. I get to help others tomorrow. Or, oh, I'm going to need some help tomorrow. I can't wait to see who shows up, what new friends I have. Imagine if we began to look at all of life like that. Our misery level would recede. I learned when I came into Unity and stayed around for a while that I didn't come here to make my misery more manageable. I came here because I believed there's no cause for misery. And there's no real cause for suffering. And I don't know if I've ever said it here, but what I believe the cause of suffering is I'm here and I think I should be there. But I'm here. And that's my good place. How can I be happy here if I'm not there? How can I fulfill the promises of God if I'm here and not there? And here's the funny part. Now I'm here. I'm not there. I'm still here. Now I'm here. Now I'm here. Now I'm here. And now I'm here. And now I'm here. All I'm doing is geography now. My feet are in a different place. But I'm still here no matter where I am. I'm never going to be there. I may have a destination in mind. The problem is, wherever I get to, here I am. So what needs to shift? Going to Disney, I'm still here. And I can have a good time over at Disney, but it's still me. So it tells me, wherever I am, there I am. And remember, craving, aversion, ignorance, the eradication of it. And that's why I went on this thing, is to get when I did it 2 years ago, the Vipassana, the first night, the voice inside of me, we all have that voice, and the voice inside of me said, Shawn, this time, go through it, don't get through it. And a lot of us are trying to get through life, but go through life, which, present. We call God presence itself. Emily Katie taught us that. God is presence itself. And so that means I'm present in the presence. And what a relief. This time, what I heard the very first night was, be here now. And I was so glad to hear that. I'm so blessed by a voice of spirit and the willingness to hear it. And let me tell you, that be here now got me through the first 4.5 days without my mind spiraling. Because it can spiral. Anybody? Yeah, I could spiral. I think about things and I dwell on it. And so what happened at the end of that fourth day? Let me say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, it was 5 days I made it without. Monday is when I started to spiral in the 10 days. And I began to think about David at home. And we had a leak in my office at home. And there were repairmen there when I left, ripping out a wall and all sorts of things. But I knew David had people with him that weekend. But by Monday, he was by himself. So what my mind said, I hope he's not dead. I hope he hasn't fallen and there's nobody to help him. Oh, I hope nobody hurt one of the cats and he's not telling me something awful happened. And my mind, spiral. Now, you don't have a cell. You're not allowed to keep your cell phone there on you. And you're not allowed to go to your car. There are course boundaries. And it's very clearly stated, course boundary. Don't go this far. Well, one of those boundaries is the parking lot, which is it's just right down the little hill there past a bunch of trees. What I used to do, my first got several times there, every day as I walk past those trees, I go beep, beep with my car fob to make sure my car was still there and worked so that I could leave at any moment if I felt compelled. If the divine voice said to me, you must get out. But this time I thought, Shawn, you're making yourself crazy with these thoughts. So on Tuesday morning, I walked right past that course boundary into my car and I called David. And he answered, thank goodness. And I said, everything okay? Yes. Cat's okay? Yes. I said, great, I'll talk to you Sunday. I knew I could get through the rest of the week without. Now, what I marvel at, and I didn't even think about it till the Sunday after I left, that afternoon after I left, is I was willing to break the course boundary. I was willing to break the rule of using your phone and talking. I was willing to talk. I didn't think to pray. I wasn't going to break that rule of praying, the no praying. But I did that. And that's how I took care of myself. And what's funny, during the week, because my bedroom faced a certain way, I saw other guys going through that course boundary down to their cars. And I thought, well, I was not alone in this one. And what I discovered, the people that run these things are not the police. And they're not there to catch me and shame me. They're there to help me have the highest and best experience. Therefore, there was not a guard or a camera at the course boundary to catch me doing that. I get out of it what I put into it. It's a lot like life. I get out of life what I put into it. Anybody who's done 12-step recovery, that's one of the first things they teach you. You will get out of this what you put into it. And in Unity, it's the same thing. You will get out of the Unity message what you put into it. And so it's so frustrating because so many people, they come into Unity and they really try to rework it into their old thinking. The new language, they will just wrap up in an old box to finagle the old way of thinking, because it's very frightening. It's really frightening to let go of who you thought you were and not know who you are. We're selling our house in Connecticut right now, and we're downsizing a bit. We got a large apartment across town, but we don't want to own a house anywhere. We don't want to own property. And so I am purging of all sorts of false identity, of so many things I've had since I was a teenager that I thought, oh, that's who I am. And I thought, I haven't looked at that in years. I haven't touched it. I haven't embraced it. It's just sitting in my office somewhere in a hutch or in a drawer. That's not who I am. And yet it's still scary to let it go. Shelves and shelves of books. Letting go. Furniture. Realize, oh, I loved that furniture. It was so much fun. I don't need it. We'll get new. And to realize, oh, the house, the property, which is beautiful. It's not who I am. But then where the nerve-wracking part, the discomfort comes in, well, then who am I? If I'm not that, I mean, I should have gotten it years ago when my hair flew away. That I'm not that. My hair is not who I am. When I gained all the weight, my body is not who I am, but it's harder on the knees. I've been working at giving it a try. Not giving it a try, it. Somebody added an extra it on the sign. Give it a try. Give it a try. And sometimes the only thing you can do is sit down and breathe and be and observe your mind. Don't judge it, just observe it. Every time I've done this 10 days of silence, everyone I've ever met comes to visit me. My third grade teacher, all sorts of people. I was like, oh, hey, you're here, thank you. Because, I mean, they wake you up at 4 in the morning, so you're in meditation by 4:30. Fortunately, you can still stay in bed if you want or in your room. Or you can go to the big hall if you want to, but I've always opted for my room. I prefer, at that time of day, a more private meditation, but it's still doing Vipassana. Unless you fall asleep, but no. But 6:30 is breakfast. At breakfast, I had oatmeal, prunes, and there's something else on there. Some sort of dry cereal. Oh, 2 bananas. That was my breakfast every day and a cup of tea. Great. I was satisfied for the morning. By 8 o'clock, everyone is in a group setting. Women are over there, men are over here. 44 men, 44 women. And you're sitting there, your ankles are crossed, your hands are crossed, your eyes are closed. They ask you to do it for 1 full hour, 3 times a day. The 8 o'clock meditation, the 2:30 meditation, and the 6 o'clock meditation. This time was the first time ever that I made it for a full hour without opening my eyes. And it was on the second night, which is day 1. And I thought, oh, that's nice. I made it for a full hour. I'm not bad because I never made it before. And I will not be bad if I don't make it again, which I didn't. There's somebody's making noise somewhere. Somebody's distracting. What's going on? Because enough ADD, ADHD, whatever it's called, is there. And what squirrel? There's a squirrel running through the meditation hall. And so you sit there at 8 o'clock, and then 9:15. Usually you can go to your room or the pagoda, or stay in the big hall to meditate until 11. And this next part is what so many people think of why they cannot do Vipassana. At 11 o'clock is lunch, and it's your last meal of the day. I know. I know. And you think, how am I going to make it through? And it's a delicious vegetarian lunch. And I'm not a vegetarian except when I'm there. But it's always delicious, cooked and served by volunteers. And I eat that meal, and I never overstuff myself. It's recommended you leave your stomach a quarter empty. Eat 3/4 full. And so I finish that, and then you have a little free time. And at 1 o'clock, you're back into meditation in your room or in the hall. 2:30 is the 1 hour sits, again, like this and like this. And then at 5 o'clock is you can have a cup of tea. New students may have a piece of fruit. I'm not a new student. I had a cup of tea. I've never been hungry when I've been there. But the idea of it. What? 11 o'clock is your last meal? How will you do that? Has anybody done intermittent fasting? It's the equivalent of it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then 6 o'clock that, at 7 o'clock is the discourse on video every night. The man's a lot like Jackie Mason. He's very funny. And 9 o'clock, lights out, you're in bed. Day after day after day. By the 7th, 8th day, I'm starting to think, okay, when's this going to be over? Okay. Oh, how many hours? How many hours till this is over? Because I'm a little over it. And that's part of the most crucial time, is observing your thoughts, especially during those 1 hour times when they don't want you leaving the room. You're going to sit there. And it's not as a punishment, of course. Because, and anybody here who meditates, which I hope is everyone, you find that, because a lot of Unity people, I can't meditate. I can't sit still for 5 minutes. And I say for 5 minutes you can sit still. That's how I started. I'd set a kitchen timer for 5 minutes so that I could know when it goes off, my 5 minutes is over, and I've meditated. So I'm not peeking at back then, the VCR clock, and thinks, is it 5 minutes? Yeah, that's 2 minutes. 5 minutes. And to go into, to be there and not pull any other spiritual practices into it, but to observe. Vipassana is all about observing sensations within your body. That's really what it's about, is scanning bit by bit and observing the sensations. Jason Goenka, he had migraines so severely. He was a very successful businessman in India, and he was becoming a morphine addict as a result of the headaches. And then somebody suggested he try this, and he did. And the pain began to recede, so much so that he became a devotee, that he went to live there. He and his wife sold everything and moved to, I think, Burma it was. And he ended up as the head guy, not to be worshipped, but because he believed in it so strongly. It's kind of like the Fillmores, Myrtle and Charles Fillmore. They did it because they believed in it. They saw results. They kept proving the principles true. Myrtle Fillmore, as you know, 3 months to live she was given with tuberculosis in 1886. No, I think it would have been 1883. 1886 is when she had her healing. And by 1889, we had Unity. Because the TB had lifted. There was no signs of it due to her changing the way she prayed. She only affirmed the highest and the best. And she didn't decide what was the highest and the best. She trusted Spirit to guide her. Anybody who's done a 6th and 7th step in 12-step recovery knows that the 6th step is we were entirely ready to have God remove our defects of character. Now, my thought is, all of us, we have one defective character, and you don't have to be an alcoholic to have it. We have one defective character, and that defect is our unwillingness to accept our divinity. That's my defective character. And when I'm acting on that defective character, that's when I become a liar and a thief and a drunkard and a drug addict and whatever, a gossip and pro-misery, really. But as soon as I accept my divinity once more, I accept my unity with those I like and those I don't like. I accept our humanity, that we're all here as one, even though we're dressed up in different bodies. I become willing that all beings become joy-filled. Why? Because joy-filled people don't hurt other people. Joy-filled people don't oppress other people. Joy-filled people want everybody to be free. That a glorious prayer for our country. I love that. Joy-filled people are on their neighbor's side. And they're on the side of their neighbor on the other door. They don't have to agree with all the thoughts. So, in unity, I've learned about accepting my divinity. I say, give it a try. I started this by quoting Herbert Spencer. There is a principle which is a bar against all information and guaranteed to keep one in everlasting ignorance. And that principle is contempt prior to investigation. Look for anywhere you have been resistant. Anywhere you think, I can't give myself over to God here. I can't trust what they say God is in my church. I can't do. Well, give it a try. I can't get quiet. Give it a try. Give it a real try. It takes a second for the God mind to get through. It's just in that 5 minutes is where I say to start. In that 5 minutes, we don't know which second it is. I will have the spiritual healing. I don't know which word it is I need to use to have my spiritual healing, so I need to use all of them, all of the time. I need to interrupt my hate thoughts. I need to interrupt my fear thoughts. I need to interrupt my sickness thoughts. I need to interrupt my separation thoughts in order to say, fine. I am now willing to accept my divinity. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea of how to do it, but I know that if I am willing, I shall be divinely guided. In the meantime, I'm going to sit here for a second and listen for the divine voice before I take my action. Thank you.